Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are we getting on? So, last night Bethesda released a little bit more information regarding the upcoming Wastelanders expansion, particularly on a feature I think a lot of people are interested in, which is the possibility of companions. So, there's a couple of bits and pieces in here that are very interesting. There are a couple of things that might disappoint a few people, though I think personally they're not hugely surprising. Bethesda have hinted at this before. So, let's jump in and take a look at what they've got for us. So, Fallout 76, Inside the Vault, introducing allies. This week, we're sharing a look at allies, special human NPCs who are coming to Fallout 76 and your camp, with the Wastelanders update on April the 7th. The Purveyor is also kicking off a new mystery pick event for the next few days, which you can catch the details below. So, a big bit of news, buddy up with the allies in Wastelanders. So, plenty of new faces are going to make their way into Appalachia when our Wastelanders update arrives. This includes new factions, new human enemy groups, and a variety of characters that you will encounter while you're out and about. It's also going to introduce you to allies, a special type of human NPC that will bring more life to your camp and offer activities for you to take part in every day. So, there are a variety of allies that you'll meet during your travels throughout the Wasteland. Some of them can be recruited to take up residence in your camp through conversations or by proving yourself in some way. About what we'd expect, thinking about it. The idea that you'd have to go through a quest and achieve some kind of level of respect or admiration with them and get your reputation up a little bit is fairly standard. It's in keeping with Fallout 4. Most of the companions in that had a certain amount of questing required to pick them up, and then also had their own companion quest as well, so it keeps that vibe going on. Every ally has a different personality that you can explore by speaking with them, as well as by completing the daily quests they offer. So, it sounds like the side quests are going to give us a bit more background on the various allies we can pick up as well, which is cool. There are certain allies who you can only meet by completing the unique introductory quest, like Beckett, a man trying to escape and atone for a troubled past. After the initial task, we'll begin a quest line that takes you deeper into the character's story as you aid them in their endeavours. After completing the named allies' story quests, they will begin offering daily quests that you can take part in regularly to pick up some additional XP and loot. So, you basically have a daily quest giver taking up residence in your camp. When you convince an ally that your home base is the hottest hangout in Appalachia, you will unlock a camp object that is unique to that person. Build it to let them know they can stick around and make themselves at home in your abode. For example, by recruiting Beckett, you will be able to construct Beckett's Bar, where you will serve up drinks, lend an ear for conversations, or ask for a hand with something he needs done. Additionally, your ally will offer an extra layer of security for your camp, and they will help defend against any enemies who may come knocking. An extra gun, always welcome on those occasions you return to find some unwanted visitors. It's really cool that they're having unique items or unique building structures to focus around the different allies, which is a nice touch there, I think. Having a different feature in your camp is quite cool. Hopefully they'll be different and unique enough that we'll be able to use them as maybe a jumping off point to create a few different sort of camp builds that sort of themed around the concept the item and the ally is sort of based around. It'll be quite a cool way to go. We'll have to see in a bit more detail on down the line. But we can see in the picture here, we've got Beckett's Bar, which is, from the look of things, very much based on the sort of trading vendor posts that you can put in your camp in Fallout 4. The basic structure of it is the same. You've got the same kind of sort of tables lean on with a little bit of a roof over it, although it's had a little bit of an overhaul, which is quite cool. Glad to see it's been upgraded a bit, not just copy-pasted across, but it's also very, very similar. So, swings and roundabouts there. But it does give us a nice little feature and another focal point to add into your camp, which is cool. However, a bit of disappointing news, although, as I say, not particularly surprising given the way the servers work and so on, is that only one of these objects can be present in your camp at any given time. You can swap it out with a different one whenever you'd like to spend time with another ally you've recruited. So you'll only be able to have the one NPC in your camp at any given time. You won't be able to pick up half a dozen of them and have them milling about and have like a small settlement, I suppose, for want of a better word, which is a little unfortunate. I know a lot of people would like to have their camp a little better populated than that, myself included in some ways, but the more NPCs you pack into a small area, the more issues you're going to have with the server and possibly frame rates and things like that when you get in there as well. So I would imagine that is part of the motivation for it. maybe we'll find out a little bit more about what's going on behind the scenes there on down the line. Now, after the blog post a couple of weeks ago, Bethesda added a little clarification update on it, so it didn't really add anything to the basic blog post we hadn't already covered, so I didn't make a video on that one, but maybe we'll get a few more details on down the line. What I'm curious about is what happens when you do swap them out. If you swap Beckett's bar out for somebody else's object, is he immediately going to vanish and the other one appear, or is it going to take a little time? Will you perhaps have to leave and come back? Excuse me, causing it to basically reload? Or will we basically see Beckett, for example, wandering off out of your camp and off somewhere else, and then have somebody else make their way over and arrive a little while later? Certainly the latter there might be a bit more immersive, but then again, maybe not the most practical, so it's swings and roundabouts. Interested to see how Bethesda will actually tackle this one. But yeah, it's a bit of a pity you can only have the one, and particularly as, not just in terms of the number of NPCs, but the number of unique objects you put in your camp is limited to one there, which is, yeah, I think I'd like to have a bit more there, but like I say, the server issues and having multiple versions of each individual per server could potentially cause issues. Now, if you've got 24 players, each with a dozen NPCs wandering around the camp, that's that much more complex stuff for the servers to handle. Obviously, they've got to cover their interactions, they're moving around. Once they get involved in combat, that obviously ups the server load a little bit more as well, gets it more complicated. And obviously, as we're going on top of everything else the server is running as well, so not ideal, but probably a practical consideration, I guess. So, there's nothing quite like returning home to a friendly face after an action-packed day of looting, shooting, and exploring. While an ally will not tag along as you traverse the wasteland, you can always expect them to be waiting for you at your camp, so long as their unique object is constructed. So kick off your shoes, get comfortable, and have a chat with your new roommate. The better you get to know them, the friendlier they will become towards you, and who knows, maybe your budding friendship will lead to some post-apocalyptic romance. So, a couple of interesting points here. We've already been told quite clearly on several occasions over the last 6 or 7 months in particular that the allies will not be following you around. They won't be traditional companions. They won't be helping you in combat away from your camp, that sort of thing. It has been implied in the past that they might be involved in certain instanced scenarios, which I'm going to guess will be to do with their acquisition quests, that sort of thing. But once you've actually picked them up and got them in your camp, that's where they will stay. They will not come out on your journeys with you. Which I know will disappoint a few people, but the game's sort of geared around either groups of players or singular exploration, so I'm not hugely surprised to see them go down that route. The other thing is, like I say, it's an extra thing for them to manage on the server side of things, so I'd certainly be interested to hear a bit more on Bethesda's thoughts on the back end of that, but as I say, they have alluded to this a few times over the last few months, so kind of to be expected. One thing that I am a little surprised to see and quite happy about, however, is the hint towards the possibility of romancing these characters, which I think a lot of people will be quite happy with. The option to have a romantic interest in your camp and to couple up a bit will be, I think, something that quite a few people are looking forward to, and appropriate for today, no less, as well, so that's kind of cool. But something to be interesting to look into and see how Bethesda will actually work with this, so it's quite cool. Not something I was hugely expecting either, so very happy to see they've worked that one in there as well. I kind of got the impression it wasn't going to be a thing, so definitely a positive surprise there. But yeah, not a huge amount of detail here on the new ally system, but the key points are covered, and yeah, I'd like to know what your thoughts are, how you guys think and feel about it, so let me know in the comments. Something I think will be an interesting little addition, but yeah, as I say, I think quite a few of us would like to see it be a bit more expansive, but such is the way of things. Who knows what might change off in the future as well, so we'll have to see. So, put your fate in the Purveyor's hands this weekend. We hope you managed to save up a few legendary scripts during the last week, because Purveyor is preparing for a new mystery pick event that kicks off a little later today. For the next few days, you can head to a shop inside of Berkeley Springs Station to exchange 60 legendary script for a completely random legendary item. Details below, and we wish you luck this weekend. So it starts yesterday on February 13th at 12 PM Eastern Time, which is 5 PM UK time. Not actually later, because the blog post definitely wasn't up at 5 PM over here, but nonetheless, there we go. And it runs through till February the 17th, which I'm going to guess will be Monday. Let's have a quick look and double check. Yes. So 5 PM over here, 12 PM in the east coast of the US on Monday for this event to end. Not something I'm particularly fussed about, as I've said before. I don't really like the mystery pick thing. Personally, prefer the sales. You've got a bit more control over what you get that way. But it is there if you wish to take part. And speaking of the Purveyor is moving in April. Oh, they did the same thing I did. Business has been going so well for Myrmiga since she breached the surface and set up shop that she's planning to move to a larger location on April 7th, so that's launch day for Wastelanders. At that time, you'll find a new and improved operation humming right along at the Rusty Pick in the Ash Heap. So that's just up the road from Charleston Fire Department. It's a location you swing by on your way through the Fire Breathers quest line, just beside the road actually, so not a bad spot. Celebrate the Rusty Pick's grand reopening when Wastelanders update arrives by gathering your script, snatching up some more legendary gear for your armory. Fingers crossed you'll have a sale at the time. Until then, the Purveyor will continue serving customers at Berkeley Springs Station. So, not entirely sure what motivates this move. It's a little bit more centralized to the areas that people spend time, I suppose. It's a bit closer to the White Spring. Other areas that people spend a lot of time, like the area around Watoga, stuff like that, will then be further away. So swings and roundabouts, I guess, maybe a bit more accessible to lower level players. That might have something to do with it as well. Heading over to Berkeley Springs is kind of a risky jaunt if you want to do it at a low level. So not that it's impossible by any stretch of the imagination, but that might have something to do with the shift in location. But interesting nonetheless. It'd be a cool location to see the Purveyor set up. Looking forward to seeing what she does with the place. And yeah, as I say, that's coming with the Wastelanders update on April 7th. So thank you for joining us for this sneak peek at the upcoming ally system. We can't wait to see what you think once you dig into it when we release Wastelanders. Stay tuned on Fallout.com to catch all the latest news as it's announced, and we'll catch you again next week. Wonderful. Interesting. Pretty much what we expected with the ally system there. We've changed the name of it. That's interesting. But other than that, I think the system is more or less functioning the way we would expect, particularly given what Bethesda have told us over the last few months. A little disappointing that there's not a bit more going on and that we're limited to a single individual in a camp. But let me know in the description in the comments even, might be more helpful, what you guys think about this new update and this little bit of information. And as always, if you did enjoy the video, please do hit those likes and subs for me. It's very, very much appreciated. Social media links down in the description as well if you want to catch up with me on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. And if you're really enjoying the content, please do consider becoming a channel member as well. We're doing monthly live streams towards the end of each month. And yeah, it's a good hangout, a little bit of fun to be had. So very good opportunity to hang out, do something a little bit different. So I do very much appreciate the support in that department. Been a little quiet on the live streaming front this week, but I should be picking it up again on Sunday, all things being equal. So do watch out for that. Hit that bell notification icon thingamajig if you haven't already. It's the best way to keep up to date with what I'm doing. And best way to get notified if I go live as well. So always a good time there. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed, and I look forward to speaking to you all very, very soon.